Hey folks, back outside doing another video on this old Honda. Basically it's a CT70 engine, but it's Chinese made. Okay, so we're gonna take this cover off. I got all the cap screws off of it. Went to the hardware store, got myself a 8mm by 125, just a cheap Hansen tap. When you pull the cap screws out, you don't even have to drill anything. These holes are already oversized a little bit. You can just run a tap right in there. And the reason you're going to do that is because there's a couple of dowel pins. We'll see when we get it apart. I think right here is one, and maybe up here. They get rusty and stuck in place. And all you got to do is, this is a head bolt, I think, out of maybe like a KLR 110 or something, like an old ATV engine. Anything will work. I chose this because it's 8mm by 125 thread pitch, so it's real easy to find a tap and I run a tap in 180 degrees across from one another. Basically, put a little grease on your tap, run it in there. You're not going to hurt the case any, and the cap screw is going to cover that up. Let's see if we can. And the head of the cap screw basically covers it up. When you tighten it back down, you're just taking a little material out of the inside of the hole. So it's a quick, easy trick to pop a case cover loose. Let's see what I got here. This is off of an old lawnmower, and I get this to. We'll just thread this guy right in there. And voila. We pop the case apart. And you can make yourself, obviously, a little nicer slide puller weight if you'd like. I just didn't take the time to do it. A guy could take a chunk of steel like that and drill a nice hole through the center of it. I just didn't take the time. Looks like she's sticking maybe right here. Yeah, on the Kickstarter. Alright, well that's popped loose. I'll get that off of there, and we'll do a little bit of diagnosing as to what happens to these on the inside of the clutch cover, and it happens like right up in here. But I wanted to show you this trick to get it works on all Japanese bikes, to get a stuck cover, whether it be a stator cover, you know, on a bigger road bike, or whether it be anything that's stuck. You don't want to try and pry on it any place, because there's not a real great area to do it, and you break things. This way it's hidden, and you don't have to do much of a modification at all, and it works really well, actually. And if you set yourself up with a slide hammer like that one I just did, a makeshift, I mean, if you had a little nicer piece to whale on the end of the head of the shank of that bolt with, to pop this cover loose, you'd be further ahead. I'm not promoting the yellow drills, just get a good deal on them through the gal pal where she works. So that's what I use to tap my hole with, or holes I should say, one across from one another, and then you can get it apart and clean up those dowel pins, put it back together with a little bit of, I like to use copper anti-seize. That works well. But I'll come back and do another short video after I get this cover off. Can't do it with one hand. And we'll diagnose a little further. Stay tuned.